Let's do it.
So Elijah just said you had the wind knocked out of you when you got
Yeah.
that fumble. You didn't see you pump your fist when you got up afterward. Take us through that moment where I think the traffic was getting people pretty fired up when you got up. So what was that like? Just take us through that.
Well, first of all, it was a crazy play. I really don't know how the ball got out. I just seen it roll in the end zone. I picked it up and I started stumbling. And then as soon as I recovered back up, bow, and got the wind knocked out of me, I literally couldn't breathe. I was wheezing on the ground. But I'm good now. I got up, let everybody know I was good.
When you picked that ball up, did you have visions of 100 yards?
I did. And they got shattered real quick.
Cedric, do you like seeing Miami? 2 years ago, you had 2 picks, had that one late in the game against Van Dyke. Today, you came in and a fumble recovery. And all the drama around the wind being knocked out of you.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. My mom actually texted me this morning. She's like, "You just always play so great versus Miami. I feel like you're gonna have a good game today." But just went out there and played well. I mean, I guess I do play good versus Miami. I don't really know what it is, but it was just fun to go out there with the guys today and get a win.
Drake said that he told you at some point after you got the win knocked out, they're gonna have to drag us off this field.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? Do you remember him coming up and saying that? Did you think, what?
Yeah, he did.
What are you talking about?
He did say that to me. I mean, me and him, we just got this dog mentality. Like you said, you're gonna have to drag us off the field. The wind getting knocked out of me, that's not gonna stop me. That's not gonna keep me from not playing or none of that. So he was just saying it's gonna take a lot, to really take us off the field because that's just how we're built.
Were you like, you're right? Was that sort of your response?
Yeah. I kind of let him know, I'm good. We're gonna keep fighting.
Cedric, how did you read that interception you had? I can't remember the exact quarter, but I know it was the first play of that drive. Just how did you read that play kind of back over into it?
Yeah, well, so they had a 3-by-1 set to the boundary, and they motioned the guy over back to the field. We were kind of in a cover 3 defense. So I'm the strong hook dropper, so I have to get to the hash and really just kind of work to the hash, and he kind of threw it right on it. That's kind of one of the things that a linebacker has to be good at is kind of playing the hash. That's usually where a lot of quarterbacks throws like to go to with those in breaking routes. And was just able to get under the route and pick it off.
Cedric, you blew up a screen pass there in the first half where it looked like you hadn't been there. It might have been a huge goal, maybe shifted some momentum. Can you take me through that play, just as a linebacker, what you're thinking, trying to kind of blow up these plays that maybe could be explosive?
Yeah, well, I think we were just in a defense where I had the back. I'm kind of man-to-man, and, running backs they all kind of do the same thing when it's a screen pass. They all just kind of hop up to the line and then turn their back. So I was very reactive to it. When he started coming up, I started approaching him, and then when I noticed it was screen, it was just an all-out run to him and try to get him down on the ground.
Coach said that you've got a lot to clean up after a game like this, and that you're probably going to be the guy who leads that charge this week in practice. What kind of things do you feel like are the most important? And then, having not played your best game, beating a good team, do you have a feel for where the ceiling of this team is?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is that our penalties were awful today. We had far too many penalties. We shot ourselves in the foot on offense and defense. I think the first drive Miami scored, they had 45 yards in penalty yards. Which is unacceptable. It's hard to play like that. So I say that's the very first thing that I noticed that we need to clean up as a team. But we'll come back. We'll watch the film. We see what we did good, see what we did bad, and just fix our mistakes like we do every week and move on.
Said you played a lot of football. Are there some games, maybe like tonight, where your best players just have to be your best players? And Drake, Tez, Omarion. I'm thinking for the offense. Those dudes showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Is this, was this one of those nights where you can sort of look at the star power on that side of the ball and be like, we've got some guys that can do some things.
Yeah, I mean, we got, great players on our team who want to compete every week. It was a primetime game versus a harder opponent, I would say, than we've, played the past few games. So I think, you know the saying, big time players make big time plays in big time games. And I think, you know, a lot of our big time players was able to do that tonight.
We've talked a lot about adjustments this season that you guys have been able to make, and you had to make more adjustments at halftime tonight. Because you've had so much success with that, when you go into the halftime tonight with the game going the way it was, how much having so much confidence in the staff that the adjustments they're telling you to make are going to work as a part of this process for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think our adjustments, you know, worked great. I mean, if you look at our third quarter play, gave up no touchdowns in the third quarter. Offense, I think, scored 2 touchdowns. So we just came out on a roll, you know, making adjustments to what they were doing. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, previous weeks before, you know, that's something that we're confident that we're able to do as a team. Make adjustments, you know, if needed, and not, you know, panic, you know, when anything happens. So
It was 24-0 to start the second half for you guys.
yeah.
Yeah. And staying on the confidence part, though, when you believe so much of what your coaches are telling you, what is that like as opposed to maybe being in situations where there isn't as much confidence in what the coaches are? I'm not asking you to talk about past people, but currently, when you know that Gene says, okay, this is what we're doing, and you guys have unbridled confidence that that's going to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we all kind of noticed the different things that they're attacking us in the game that is giving us problems. And like you said, I mean, a great guy like Gene Chiskey, a great coordinator, you know, making his adjustments. I mean, we trust in him, but not only that, you know, from my point of view, they make sense, the type of adjustments that he was making to some of their plays. So, you know, if we just continue to believe and just continue to listen to our coaches and do our jobs, you know, we'll continue to grow.
So you mentioned the penalties just a little bit ago, and going back and watching film on those. Are there specific things you're kind of, you know, looking for when you go back and look at it, and just kind of what are those film sessions like in that review process?
Yeah, well, usually when guys have penalties, it's usually bad technique or they're panicking. You know, that's probably the 2 biggest things when you have penalties. So, you know, you just have to clean those things up. You know, you can't panic in different situations. Speaking from a DB standpoint, and O linemen, you know, they can't just, you know, hold on to a guy just because they, you know, they might have bad technique or think that they're beat. So if we, you know, fix those things, then, you know, I think the penalty count will definitely go down.
On first glance, just real quick to follow up. On first glance, do you think panic was one of the main causes? I know, again, you haven't looked at it yet,
Yeah.
but just kind of being on the field, did you think that was one of the primary causes for those?
No, I don't think it was the primary causes. I'm just saying, you know, that's usually what happens when you tend to get, you know, pass interference or holding calls on defense.
Going back to that play where you got the wind knocked out of you, I can imagine that not being able to breathe, however briefly, is a fairly scary experience. But you mentioned that that's not going to get you down. You're going to get back up from that. How do you do that mentally and just keep playing and play at such a high level like you did?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've gotten the wind knocked out of me before. This isn't, you know, the first time happened. Although I will say that was probably like the worst time, like experience of it. I was on that ground wheezing, but I kind of knew what was happening. I knew I'd be fine. I knew I just had to catch my breath and it was ready to go back in.
Is
Last 1% here.
not to give you a pass on penalties because it was almost a school record. You got to look it up.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking up penalty records, you gotta say this. But is it in some ways unavoidable when you play in a team like Miami, who obviously plays with a certain edge, is gonna talk? Like, I mean, did it sort of lure you into that type of a game?
I mean, yeah, they're definitely going to be a little chirpy and, you know, try to lure you into those things. But, I mean, that's stuff that we talk about, you know, being disciplined. You know, Coach Brown literally said it before the game, you know, they're a little chippy team. They like to talk a lot. Don't react to them. Let them get the penalty. Coach literally gave us that message. So with us already knowing that, I mean, you just got to play smart and not respond.
All right.
Thanks.